Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I just want to give a long overdue update on this old dozer here behind me. Now, I haven't really worked on this thing a whole lot. Just kind of been waiting here around on, the verdict on the pony motor and stuff like that. I actually did work on this a little bit last weekend. Uh, Worked on getting the motor ready to pull off. I've got all the bell housing bolts out. The auxiliary spring is unhooked from the rear, so all that needs to happen now is, the rear of this thing is blocked up, so we got to raise the engine and transmission up and block it at the drawbar, then hook a hoist to it or whatever and try to separate engine from transmission. However, uh, the deal with the pony motor, like I've mentioned before in a couple other videos, that I had taken it to a machine shop that does engine work, as far as your welding up crankshafts, grinding them, making bearings, things like that. And so they were well suited to do the job. But the problem is their crankshaft welding machine that they do it on, it's tore up, broke down, and they informed me of that. And then they were trying to get a company to come in there to see about fixing it. And they told me that they had an outfit out of Ohio came and looked at it, and he said that they couldn't fix it. So either that means the company couldn't fix it, maybe the machine's that old, they couldn't get parts for it, or what I'm thinking is the machine shop probably doesn't want to put the money into fixing the machine, because I would say that nowadays they don't do a whole lot of crankshaft repair. Uh, they just order new crankshafts and, whatever camshafts, because don't get me wrong, they do a lot of business, but they work on a lot of commercial industrial engines, where they're not necessarily rebuilding, trying to use old parts to make something new again. They just order new parts and replace them. So that's kind of where I'm at. Uh, I can't, I haven't been able to find any other places around here locally that does anything like that. I think there's some places probably in Pennsylvania. I haven't, like I said, I haven't really checked around a whole lot, because honestly, the dozer has really been on the back burner, not being priority. We've had a lot of other stuff going on, life in general, stuff like that that's took, precedence over everything else. But if any of you guys know any outfits that does, machine work on crankshafts, and or have, worked on dozers like this and rebuilt the engines, let me know in the comments. Hook me up, send me the right direction, uh, so we can find out if we're going to be able to do this or not. Because I'm just about to put this thing on the scrap list. It does need a lot of work, and I was well aware of that when I got it. She's well worn, but I do believe it is savable. It's just a matter of, the time and the money you want to put into it. So for those of you that don't know, basically, this is a 1940 model D4 Caterpillar, and we bought it non-running. Engine was free, pony motor was free, but it had a lot of issues, had a lot of rust in the water jackets and stuff like that. Cylinder sleeves wore out, pistons wore out, you know. So we brought it home and we started tearing it apart to kind of just evaluate it better, just to see exactly what we got, and then to kind of come together with a conglomeration and tally up about, get a general idea of what it was going to cost to get it running again. So that's where we're at with it. Like I said, I hadn't given up all hope on this thing. I mean, I believe anything's repairable as long as you got the time and, to put into it, money and the willpower. I think anything's fixable. But you can see right here, just for example, I don't know how well it'll show up on camera, but You know, the cylinder sleeves are all worn pretty decently. They all have a line around the top of them, you know, just from wear. But some of my big concern was like, you know, for example, right here, this is where the water pump goes on. You see just how nasty and rusty it is, and all these little water jackets and openings. And you know, I could have probably just went with it and not started taking this diesel engine apart, and I could have just like maybe got the pony motor running, slapped it on there, and then tried to fire this thing up. But the thing was, as bad a shape as the pony motor was in internally, and like, let me get around here. Well, of course I cleaned it out, but you know, right here where the pony motor bolts on, you know, this was just jam full of, not there, but over here, this was jam full of rust, and it's still got some down in there that ain't cleaned out. Now that's your water jacket, you know. And when I seen that, and like I said, just the overall condition of the pony motor, I just figured that a person would be better off to just disassemble this engine. That way he could clean everything, because you know, you got to take these cylinder sleeves out, and then around that on the inside of them is, you know, a water jacket. And from other videos I've watched of people working on these, that is like absolutely a critical thing, is having that cleaned out around the inside those cylinder sleeves. So that's why we started taking this thing completely apart to do that job. Now, I don't know, I might have to get a light here. I don't know how well it'll show. I looked down inside here, and honestly, this wasn't too bad looking down in here. Let's see. You know, and all you're looking at here is the back side of the clutch. You know, there's a little bit of dirt and stuff down here, but it wasn't like I figured. I was expecting this down in here to be completely rusted up, nasty. But you know, when you work this stuff back and forth, you can see it all still works, and you can grab hold of this, and right here, you can grab hold of this and turn it with your hand. And if you get enough momentum, it actually tries to turn the cats when you spin it by hand. You know, I did pop the inspection plate off the rear end, looked inside there. I mean, there's some nasty oil in it, but the gears look okay from what little bit you can see of them. They look clean. They don't look like they're worn abnormally or anything. So, you guys let me know. You guys think I should keep going with this thing? If you do, try to help me find some places for parts, machine shops, stuff like that. Because that's kind of where I'm at. I can do a lot of the mechanic work myself on it, as far as taking it apart, putting it back together. I don't have any way of making bearings and welding up crankshafts and grinding them down, stuff like that. So, yeah, just wanted to throw this together real quick. You know, we was out here, we was actually going to go mow grass, and then it started pouring rain, and so we come in the garage. Jake was out here with me, but he's went back in the house, and we actually, I worked on the Gravely backhoe a little bit, had to change a starter gear on it, and put a new battery in it, and got it fired back up and running. So, yeah, just leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Any leads to machine shops, stuff like that. Really appreciate it. And thanks for watching. Little peek inside the rear end on the D4. Figured I'd pop this cover off and try to look in there and see what it looks like. Don't look too bad, really. The gears don't. Oil looks a little, ugh. But